Yeah, that's the right foot. Yeah. Hello. Noah's just asked me about his shoes. Hi, you guys. Come on in. Yay. I'm so excited. You want to come say hi? Yeah. Come say hi. Special guest in the house?
Yeah.
Hi. It's Chef Noah. Right?
Yeah. No, it's Swim Noah.
No, it's Swim Noah.
No,
Okay, Mama's going to do her cooking class. Hi, guys. Okay, come say hi if you're here. I'm so excited for today. We are going to do some amazing summer recipes. I'm a little bit behind because June needed to eat, so welcome to real life around here. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, now, will one of you at least just say hi so that I know things are working and that we can make sure the tech side is good, because we really do want these recordings later in case you can't ever make these lives. That's like truly the hope here. So it's just anybody, just come say hi. There's like a little bit of a delay from what I can see and hear. How is everyone? I'm so excited. Okay, Lindsay, thanks. Hi. I can see. I'm like, there's so many of you here. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to work. Amanda's here. Lindsay's here. Everything's working. You can see, most importantly. Okay, so we're going to get right into things today. I have been actually like cooking with Noah this morning and was like telling him about like cooking shows. I'm like, we should have a cooking show. We should do like a little kids thing. He like loves it. It's so cute. So my child. And then also, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I'm bringing back the gluten-free sourdough that I used to make like every week. It would make like 2 loaves every week. I started that in like 2019, and then I stopped after COVID. And then when I got pregnant, I could eat anything. So this is like after 2.5 years or something, I'm finally starting to make it again. I'm a little rusty. So the first loaf came out and it's like too dark brown, and the other one's not quite cooked yet. So that's still in the oven as we're finishing up. So I'm going to grab it out. I can show you guys. Of all people, you will probably be the most interested in this. And so I used Erin's cookbook. If you guys don't have it and you're gluten-free, she is amazing. She's also Seattle. But this is the cookbook she does the gluten-free starter and which you can make a bunch of different things, and she has recipes for. But then the best thing is the gluten-free sourdough bread. And it takes like 5 days for the starter. And then you have to time it the right way with mixing the starter. And then the next day you set it out for like another 24 hours. So it's like a 7-day process to get your first 2 loaves. And so I'm like finally there, and we'll see how it goes. So anyways, does anybody else have like any fun cooking projects they're going to work on? I also just ordered some garden beds. I'm really excited to maybe have some little gem lettuces. We're going to use those today. They're my favorite lettuces. For summer, they're just crunchy and crispy, and they're tiny, and you can just use them in a bunch of different ways. They never taste watery. So I'm excited about that. Who else has any gardening cooking projects happening? I'm such a newbie, but I love like learning and playing. I think that's what summer's all about. Okay, so today, let's get serious. Let's get down to business. So today we're going to do 2 recipes that I think are so much fun for summer. And most of all, they're like quick and easy. So the first one is going to be like a sort of a make-ahead meal that you could take, making it ahead if you know you're going to do something fun or do a picnic or on a boat or a beach or wherever you live, hiking. It's a great quick lunch on the weekends. So it is like this pesto pasta salad. But it has a ton of veggies mixed in, and it's sort of a take on like a pasta Caesar salad combo, and inspired by the fact that when I do eat pasta, it is mostly what I call like a pasta salad, meaning pasta and lettuce, and it's like a salad and then that like a little bit of pasta for like texture and flavor, and just so you feel like satiated. And so I'm going to teach you one of my newest recipes, and actually it's so new. Let me grab the box. It's so new that we have the baseline recipe up in the cooking club for you. So let's see what we called it. Just so if you want to follow along, you can. Summer pesto pasta and snap pea salad. It is one, so if you want to look it up right now in your portals, that's what it's called. It's one of the best recipes for like using what you have. So you can use like whatever sort of green veggies. So like peas, if you don't have peas, you can use frozen peas or broccoli. If you want to do, you could do like, we're going to add cucumber in it. You can add some extra herbs if you want, but it's like this crunchy, yummy pasta pesto combo. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. So that one is new. So if you want to make it, and we're just going to kind of play around, just make sure all the proportions are right. You guys are the first people to get this little sneak peek of the recipe happening as we speak. And then we're also going to do one of the brand new recipes in there, which I think is so much fun, are these grilled mini eggplant pizzas. And this is an amazing recipe. It's fun for kids because who doesn't like pizza? Fun for picky eaters. If you've never tried eggplant or you're not quite sure about it, this is a great recipe to start with and try. It can be done on the grill, which is a fun summer thing and quick, easy hack. You can slice these up and marinate them. And then when you're ready later to cook, throw them on the grill, top them with sauce and whatever pizza toppings you'd like. Or you can do these in the oven. So today I'm going to just show you how to do it in the oven. So these are the grilled mini eggplant pizzas in your dashboards if you would like to come follow along. So they're two fun things that, again, as with all of my recipes, that you can like customize based on whatever you have on hand, and mix in different toppings, whatever veggies you have in season, whatever you maybe have in your garden, whatever is on sale that week. That's really how I like to cook. So we're going to jump right in with the eggplant pizzas, because the first part is either going to be slicing, tossing in olive oil and grilling, or it's going to be putting them on a parchment sheet and popping them in the oven for about 20 minutes. So we want to start that process right now. And as you can see, here, I have one pan ready to go lined up. I kind of might go a little bit back and forth today with these two recipes, just in the name of time, and doing things like getting the pasta water going and cooking as we start to do these eggplants. So yes, can you see? Please remind me if you can't see. Like sometimes the angles get funny and whatever. Just let me know in the chat box if you can't see or if you have questions along the way. So this is about like a 1/4 inch cut. You don't want them too thick. You want them about, if really do your best to try and make sure they're even all the way across the way. And we're going to lay them out, spread them out on this baking sheet with parchment paper here. And anytime you're working with eggplant, you really want to, like the best you can, because sometimes it's hard, use a lot of olive oil and a lot more spices than you probably think that you need. They tend to really absorb like a lot. Like they're very dry. They kind of have this funny spongy texture that, unless they're done in a way, and I'm going to turn the oven on, let's see, 425. Unless they're done in a way where like it's very like high heat, it will end up kind of like a little gooey and the texture is just not that great. So in the prep itself, you want to make sure that we are going to like coat these as best we can with olive oil and sea salt and pepper and a little bit of Italian seasoning. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. And although it seems like excessive to have 2 eggplants, actually the full recipe calls for 3, because each person, these are like mini pizzas. So each person is probably going to have, you know, at least 4 to 6 to 8, however much they're hungry for. But having multiple, they also tend to shrink down when you cook. So it seems like a lot with the 2 pans, but it actually goes pretty quickly. Okay. So again, we just want them similar size, makes cooking a lot easier. My oven's already heated from the bread, which I have to take out. Somebody remind me to take that out. Here we go. So we're going to put this here and, you know, not overlapping them because that will prevent them from cooking, but just laying them out so they each have their own space like this. These are probably not going to work. Okay, so we have these 2 trays. We are going to drizzle our olive oil on top. And you actually want to make sure like you kind of get every single piece, and we're going to flip it over and rub it in. But first, I like to do the whole tray so that my hands are only getting dirty once, and I only have to wash them once. A little pepper. So these are it's like a really fun idea because you can really do any type of topping that you normally love on your pizza, or you can get a little crazy with things. You could do like Greek inspired ones. You could do today, and because, oh, where's my spices? I was gonna say today because I'm making it like for my family. So you can do basil or Italian seasoning, like the herbs de Provence. That's usually what I like to do. You can keep them pretty plain too for kids. So I don't know, Noah will eat everything. The one thing he won't eat for some reason is like melted cheese and yogurt. Those are the two things. He'll eat cottage cheese. He actually loves cheese, like Beecher's cheese or like a hard cheddar cheese, loves it. He'll eat everything else, but those are the two things. So when we do pizza night, he likes no cheese, Mom, no melted cheese. I'm like, that's fine. So we'll do some of those for him. We actually don't add it on until later, and so that's a really easy thing to do. So you can see even here, this texture, it literally has already absorbed. I don't know if you can see. That's like already sunk in the eggplant. That's how like dry and spongy they are. So as I'm flipping these over, I'm actually going to do another round of the olive oil here because you just don't want them to be dry. And eggplant just requires a little extra. So I'm just like rubbing it in as much as possible that we can get all the seasoning, spices. We're going to do it again on this tray. And so eggplant is something that does come into season in the summer. So you'll actually start to see them more widely available in the grocery store, even on sale. Their season is a little bit later in the tail end of the summer, more like August and sometimes even September, depending where you live. But they're just such a great thing, especially for high heat cooking. So grilling times, or if you are, again, kind of like batch prepping, something that is really, this also makes like great leftovers reheated or cold. And I think like Noah has a little something to say. Like valuable thing. If you're going to make these ahead of time, maybe to have for lunch the next day, I think it's actually so much better without the cheese. So I'm going to pull out the sourdough, show you guys what it looks like if you're interested. This one's pretty crispy. This is also my first time using this oven. So every oven is a little different, which is why sourdough is a process always. Little crispy, but I think it probably will end up tasting great. So that's fun, at least for me. Okay, so I'm gonna put back the rack. You guys, welcome to real life today. I'm gonna get this in. Okay, so if you have a rack on the bottom, it's actually very helpful because it cooks these almost more similar to a grill. So I'm going to put the ones that have slightly thicker pieces on the bottom rack, and I'm going to put the ones that have kind of thinner pieces up on the top, and I'll probably rotate them around just because different ovens have different heating points, and setting the timer for 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, in case we run out of time here, after 20 minutes, I will just flip them over so the other sides can do, and then I'll probably switch the pans top to bottom again. So we kind of get a little bit more even cooking. It's a little side trick. Okay. After those 10 minutes, so the second time, then we're going to take it out. We're going to do some tomato sauce and then whatever other toppings that you want, whether it's like cooked peppers, you could do olives, you could do like a turkey pepperoni or chicken sausage or olives, you could do cooked mushrooms. I would just suggest any of the toppings that you're going to do probably need to be cooked ahead of time, because when they go back in the oven, it's really just to like heat up the toppings a little bit and have the cheese melt, not for it to like necessarily cook. So you could do like a small dish on the side if you wanted to chop some peppers and throw it in there, because you have at least 30 minutes, right? So if you wanted to like do roasted veggies or roasted mushrooms on the side, the oven's already on. It'd be a quick and easy thing to do. Or just keep it super simple and do tomato sauce, cheese, I have mozzarella cheese, some herbs, and keep it sweet and simple. Okay. So we'll at least get to see some of the process, but I don't want to keep you like hanging longer than you need to just walk you through what that would look like. So it's anytime you're making pizza at home, you always want to cook the crust first completely, then pull it out, then add your sauce and toppings, and then you put it back in, basically just for the cheese to melt. If you're hoping for the veggies to also cook, it just doesn't work. Gets just like soggy. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the pesto summer pasta. So I'm just going to fill this pot with water, and we're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to cook the pasta first, and then I'll show you what we've got. Also, just like tiny cooking hack as I'm thinking about it with pasta water. If you have like a electric kettle of some sort, this guy over here. If you have an electric kettle, that's always a great way to kind of supersede your pasta water. So if you have like one of those, that we have one back there, it's like usually what I do. Filling it up, it's already boiling water, you pour it in, and then you're just kind of taking it more to a rolling boil so you can add the pasta right in right away. Okay, so since this is a pasta salad, you can do this hot or cold, like serve it hot or cold, which is why they are awesome. I would suggest holding off on the romaine lettuce. You can also use arugula too, but holding off on the chopped romaine until you're actually ready to eat, because it will get wilty. If you want to keep it ahead, you could use something like broccoli or kale. That's a little bit more sturdy instead of doing the little gem lettuces, which is what we're going to do today. So I found this gluten-free little bow tie pasta. I've never seen it before. So this is just a brown rice pasta, but you could do like macaroni, you could do penne. The only thing that probably wouldn't work as great if you're serving it cold is going to be like a spaghetti noodle. But you could do that warm. Spaghetti noodles just tend to get like stiff and very hard to like actually work with. So ingredients here, we're doing pasta. We're going to do a cucumber, romaine lettuce or little gem lettuces. And then you can do your choice. This is like, do whatever fun mix-ins you have. You could either do peas, so like cooked peas. You could do cooked broccoli, which is what I'm going to do today. You could do raw broccoli too if you like that. You could also use green beans. And then what I would suggest is snap peas. So snap peas, cucumber, pesto, the romaine, and then the pasta with it. My Instacart shopper said there was no more snap peas, so we're missing those today. But I'm going to demonstrate and use some broccoli instead, and you guys can kind of see how it comes together. So first of all, bringing pasta water to a boil. We've got it going on high. We're going to salt the water just a little bit. And I always use sea salt. I always have this just open container because I'm like literally always dipping in. But I love like the Maldon crunchy sea salt. Just a little sprinkle on everything makes it so good. So let's start working on our cucumber. Over here. This is funny. Noah has started cooking with me more, so now there are certain things, and I'm like, well, where is it? It's not in the drawer I put it in. He likes to play around, so, let's see. Well, got a backup one here, so we're just going to we're going to peel it first. You could also use in this recipe zucchini. Zucchini would also be something that could hold over a little bit better if you're going to do it as more like a make ahead, or you're making it in the morning. If you're making it in the morning for the afternoon, cucumber should be totally fine. If you're wanting to do it maybe for like the next day, zucchini will hold the dressing, hold the pesto a little bit better without getting soggy. So again, very flexible. Is this annoying when I tell you things that are like, or you could do this, or this, or this? I just like to give you lots of options, and then you can make it work for you, right? There's lots of different options. You could do the same recipe and make it 5 times and make it in like change one thing, and it's like tastes like an entirely new recipe. So again, like don't always think that you need to like keep recreating the same wheel. You can take same recipes that you love and maybe you try just swapping out and trying a different veggie than you normally do, or the one that's on sale, or the one that's in season, or the one that's like just working for your family a little bit better. Okay, so I have the cucumbers. I'm just going to take the seeds out. Again, this will reduce the mush factor. The last thing you want in a salad that's like make ahead or a picnic style or deli style is like mushy, watery. And sometimes that's what these seeds do. So for this recipe, again, can be great. If you're making it right then and you're going to eat it right then, you could skip this step if you wanted to. But I kind of like to do it just in case. I always, when I am cooking, I always like to cook with leftovers in mind. It just, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, it makes it feel like it's worth the time. So I am going to cook these. I like doing like 2 cuts down the middle here. So you get, and these are like the crunchy, watery parts. So like super refreshing, especially in the winter. I have to get a mixing bowl. Just going to put these on the side here. And again, so this is something like, think of the cucumbers like the lettuces, like you're kind of going to add them in at the same time. If you're about to eat it, like I'll probably have this for lunch. Side bonus of these classes. That's what we're going to do. Okay. You guys have any questions so far? Is it helpful to see this? Okay, you just let me know. I'm here. So if you ever have questions, let me know. Cooking, recipe-wise, anything else, happy to talk about it. If you need any tips or ideas, swap, substitutions, that type of thing, let me know. So like how my brain works. Okay, so this is another great way to get a lot of veggies in, but have a meal that doesn't necessarily taste like you're eating just a straight salad. So I am always a fan of like adding texture, like more texture to things and different flavors. So this salad has like a lot of crispness to it with the cucumber and the lettuce. It also has the crunchy factor with both of those things. Then you're getting kind of a satiating like pasta, really satisfying, sort of like a grain to it. And then you're getting extra veggies. So whatever extra veggies you are adding in, you're getting tons of them. And you can keep adding tons and tons. I'm like, I think you can do this with all of the like swaps and substitutions, or you just do all of them at once. So these are the little gem lettuces. If you can find them at the store, they're just amazing. They come into season in the summer. They're like little mini romaine lettuces. And so it's like all crunch, and the lettuce itself isn't so bitter. So I did 1 whole cucumber. If you have like the little Persian cucumbers, those would also work great, less peeling and chopping. So I'm going to chop this up. So this is, again, like a little take on like a Caesar salad mixed with a pesto salad, mixed with a pasta salad. Like, what should we call this? Maybe this is, you guys can give me a vote. The pesto, pasta, summer, Caesar salad. Little long title. If anyone has ideas, let me know. Maybe that's what I should do. Just outsource the naming of each recipe. Okay, so I would say this is about, like 2 cups. With lettuces or greens, again, you could use like arugula here if you want to. You could use romaine. You could use kale if you want it to be more sturdy. Probably about 2 cups, but it's however much you want. You can change the proportions of this however you need to. Okay, our pasta water is ready. So this one, I just say cook according to directions because they're all different. This one says cooking time is about 9 minutes here. So I did about half of a box of this. So this is what, 12 ounces? I'll have to make some notes for the recipe. Half a box, because again, this is something that I'm like, you could always cook the pasta ahead, but for purposes of like lunch and showing you what a full recipe looks like, let's do that. Okay, next up we have, if you have snap peas or green beans, that would be the best. If not, I'm going to do an example here with some broccoli, because I had some broccoli from last night. It could be uncooked or cooked, depending what you like here. And I'm just going to look at this chopped and ready. I set my timer. Oh, perfect. It's actually like the same timer as the eggplant. Let's check on the eggplant. Okay, you're doing good in there. And if you have the option of convection bake on the eggplant, I forgot to say that actually really helps. So I just changed it over. Convection bake makes sure the top and the bottom kind of get more, the air gets circulated more evenly. So they will cook a little bit faster, and it will also cook a little bit more even, I guess, from top to bottom. I still will probably switch the sheets when it's ready. So those both have like 10 more minutes. So I'm going to get our strainer out and ready for the pasta when it's done. Grab this. Yeah, and if you can't do pesto, I have a great recipe. I mean, if you can't do dairy, I have a great pesto recipe that's on the pesto kale salad that's made with like cashews and nutritional yeast. You could also use that pesto in this salad if you want. We'll add that to the notes. If you're vegan or you can't do dairy very well, your body doesn't handle it well, you can always look up that pesto recipe in there. You can also do something instead of using, I'm doing a store-bought pesto today because it's what we have, and this is real life, and that's quick and easy. But when I get the chance to in the summer, I love making pesto. So we have a great classic pesto recipe. We have a vegan pesto recipe all in the cooking club for you if you want. An alternative and something else fun to try would be just doing like a almost like a balsamic dressing or like a Greek style dressing. It could be something you buy, like the Primal Kitchen brand is a great like clean brand to use of like dressings. There's also a brand called Tessemae's. So again, just depending how much time, how quick and easy, how fast you need this to like pack up and go, or go out on your adventure, or to have it ready for lunch. Those can all be great options too as a swap for the pesto, because I know people have either sometimes nut allergies, sometimes it's dairy, and if you don't have the time to make your own pesto from scratch, in that case, you can also use one of those other dressings. Okay. Anyone else have questions as we're kind of waiting, walking through? I want to make sure we stir the pasta because otherwise it can stick together, especially with these bow ties. These are like such a throwback from childhood for me. And we'll check on this too. Okay, eggplant's doing good. Picking up heat. I'm going to get our like mixing bowl ready to do the pasta over here. So that right here. So when it is done, we'll get this. All right. Okay, no one has any questions at all? Things that look new, any ideas for the recipe? We're just watching, do it on the side. Okay, someone was asking if you can do, like if you're gonna make these both at once, can you do and use the same ingredients? Yeah, so what I would say is probably do like, you could do broccoli pizzas if you wanted to like use the same thing. Let's see, peas, green beans, probably wouldn't want, but if you were doing arugula or kale, that would be a great topping. I always like to do that. Again, I like to turn my pasta into green salads and also my pizza into green salads. So that's also my order, or when we make it at home, I'll always top it with like the most arugula. It's actually a salad, and then there's just like a pizza happening to be on the bottom, but that's another great way to get in more veggies and not feel like you're needing to cook a whole bunch extra, and just adds like a nice like peppery flavor to it that I really like and enjoy. So that's I always tend to have like arugula in the weekly shop. I would say arugula or kale, because both of them can be great topping agents to anything, whether it's soup or salad or pasta salads or pizza. Let's see. Oh, that was just the oven. It's just a nice thing that you can always have on top. A great way to do extra veggies. If you're doing arugula or kale, you could saute the kale or do it raw and just do like some lemon juice and olive oil, sea salt and pepper, and kind of mix it around, and that makes it more like a salad on top if you don't want just like dried greens, let's say. So I'm going to put in the broccoli. Again, if you're using green beans, peas, whatever you have on hand. What else do we talk about? Green beans, peas, broccoli. The snap peas would go with the romaine, lettuce. So, Mike, I have a feeling these are like both going to be done at the same time. Let's see. A couple more minutes. So I'm going to take out the eggplant and show you, because we are almost at the time. So we've got this, and because I cook all the time, my husband's like, he's like, you freak me out when you do that with your fingers. But I feel like your fingers start to get less sensitive the more you cook. So I'm just going to flip these over. I find a fork easier than a spatula, but you just want them to be like, I'm going to show you this, like browned on top before you're flipping, like this. Scoot them over. And again, this would go so much faster on a grill, but I know that not everybody has a grill, so this is a great way to do it at home. Or let's say if you want to make these in a totally different season, like in the winter. And then you can also test out which thickness you like better. So you could make some that are like much more thin. You could make some that are a little bit thicker, and see which texture that you like better. I tend to like ones that are kind of just in the middle of both of that. Can you all see? Like that. So now I'm going to switch the pans. Put this one up. This one on the bottom. I'm going to do the same here. Woo! Sizzly. So this one, because it was on the bottom, you'll see like a little bit more of the charred brown when I'm flipping, and that's what you want. Okay, so this tray will actually probably be ready sooner than the other one. So whatever one you put on bottom will be the first batch to go. And you do not have to turn all of these into pizzas. So like roasted eggplant, grilled eggplant is an amazing base for so many things. It's actually really good cold the next day too. In salads, my favorite as like a quick snack or even like lunch or part of a salad is roasted eggplant dipped in hummus. Oh, it's like to die for. And the flavors just like go so well together. So you do not need to turn all these into pizzas. You can chop them up, put them on salads, mix them with arugula or some little gem lettuces. There we go. I'm making this really hard on myself, you guys. It's hard to do it when it's tilted. Okay, can you see how there's like this brown, nice brown color? So we're going to put these back on top here and set the timer for 10 more minutes. And we're going to check our pasta. Should be done right now. Let's see. So with pasta, especially with doing something like a pasta salad, you want to make sure it's not overcooked because it will get too like gluey and too flexible, and all the noodles will fall apart. Okay. So we're just going to do the strainer really well. Okay, And then while the noodles are hot, I'm going to bring it over here. I'm just going to toss it into the bowl here. And the hotness and temperature is actually what's going to help melt the pesto in. So it's going to be, I'm doing like a half a version here so you can see. Let's see. Okay, you can all see. So this is just going to be about a tablespoon of pesto total. You can do, maybe we'll do a little bit more. Tablespoon and a half. And we're just going to mix this in gently. So again, you wouldn't want to put the lettuce in right away because it would like make the lettuce wilt, and that's not really what we're going for. If you wanted to serve this hot, that would be what you want to go for. You could like mix in spinach and it will kind of melt. You can do, again, arugula will get like a little bit wilted. So again, flexible. This is something you can do hot or cold. We're going to do a little extra. We're going to do some Italian seasoning, about half a teaspoon or full teaspoon if you're doing the full recipe. And some pepper, and then about half teaspoon of the sea salt. There it is, right in here. So the pesto usually has that mix in it. In case somebody's asking what pesto, this is just the one from Costco, the Kirkland signature. It's not perfect. It has some stuff in it I don't love, like sunflower oil, but the rest of it is actually pretty clean after that. Basil, pecorino romano, pine nuts, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, citric acid, which is fine, black pepper, salt. So for the most part, it's actually pretty great. And think about this, like the amount that you're using, like, you know, a tablespoon, maybe at the most, is so tiny for the intention that you're setting with it, which is to make a homemade meal from scratch that's going to fill you up and nourish you and has so many amazing like veggies in it and things that will make you feel great. Can you not? You can't see because the bowl is so steamy. So if this were me and I'm going to do it cold, I would actually put this in the fridge right now to cool down. And then I would keep these cucumbers and the romaine until later so that, again, they just don't get heated and kind of like gross. But I do want to show you the proportions of it. So for presentation purposes, know that. If you were going to do this as like your lunch, let's say, which is what I'm going to do, you would get a bowl like this, and I would do the pasta on the bottom like this, and then we'll do probably, so we'll do half the amount of each. So the cucumbers, the romaine, more cucumbers, romaine, this. And then I would like gently toss it all together like this. And then I'm probably going to do a little extra salt, a little extra pepper, and a little more pesto, because now that it's combined, you can kind of see it's like very light. So you always want to start with a little less than you think you need. So again, we will adjust this. More pesto. This is the live creation process, right? More pesto for next time to make it more of an actual salad where the greens get coated too, like this. Here we go. So that would be lunch. You can garnish it with some extra basil. You could do arugula on top. You could keep it as is. You could do extra Parmesan cheese if you want. Yes. Okay, good. You're saying looks great. It is great. Let's taste it. You get all the texture. Pretty great. Awesome. I'm excited to eat that later. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left on the eggplant, but I'm just going to pull it out so I can show you what we're doing so you guys can see. You don't need to like hang out and wait for it to cook, but I'm just going to show you how we do the toppings so that you can know exactly how to do this at home. So if you're making tomato sauce, I have my favorite recipe for making it. This is also a great recipe if you're doing it kind of quick and easy to use a jarred sauce. I'm testing this new one. It's called FODdy. It's a low FODMAP gut-friendly one because I used to have gut issues where you can't do onion and garlic a ton. So I'm actually used to a sauce without it, and I wanted to try this. And so the rest of it's just chopped tomatoes, extra virgin olive oil, carrot puree, celery puree, sea salt, and basil. So the only thing with jarred tomato sauces you might want to be on the lookout for is that they can tend to have a lot of sugar added to them because the American palate is so steeped in sweetness and people crave sugar all the time. So in order for it to taste quote unquote good, most companies will add a lot of sugar. So sometimes it can take like some searching to find ones that don't. So this is one of them. There's some great like Rouse tomato sauce. I know Costco carries that. That's a great one. Just check the labels. Just always check your ingredient labels. Okay, someone was asking, could you do this with pesto? Yes. So any ways that you like your pizza, like you can get as crazy as you want with this. And they're just like mini bites. So this is also kind of a fun idea for like a party or backyard barbecue. If you're hosting, it's just like, it's almost like people can just grab it and eat it like a little taco, which is actually how we end up eating it here at the table, like mini pizzas, and you just fold it. I can't do it because they're too hot, but like fold it. The toppings in the inside. Yeah, so we're just gonna do like a basic marinara. I'm gonna leave these ones that are too small. These will probably be my ones that I leave for just other things and different types of snacks throughout the week. And then I'm gonna do some mozzarella cheese, which normally I prefer like the ball that you cut. But today, what we have in the fridge is the shredded kind. So that's what we're gonna make. So I'm just putting this on. And then again, after we top these, you can get as creative as you want to. I mean, olives would be great here. I think I have some in the pantry, but it's not really worth showing. You can do it. I love the Applegate turkey pepperoni for pizzas. I love, you can do artichoke, roasted red peppers. What else? Keep a couple. I'm going to keep a couple in the next batch cheese free. You know, not complaining too much because that's a really easy thing to leave off. Okay, so these are going to go back in, and then I would probably sprinkle some herbs over the top of it to get ready to serve, and maybe a little sea salt and pepper. So I'm going to put these guys back in, keep them going, and then I like to turn it to a broil. Turn to a broil so that they do get like crispy and the cheese melts at the very, very end. But I'm not going to make you wait around to see that if you don't want to. So yes, the names of the recipes again are mini eggplant pizzas. And then I can't even remember the name because it was so long. And maybe we'll change it. Summer pesto pasta and snap pea salad. So you can tell how like the snap peas would be perfect in here and like just crunchy and greens and fresh, refreshing feeling, especially like on a hot summer day, which hopefully we're going to get soon here in Seattle. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on any of those? Let me know. Let me know as you're cooking too. We're always like, if you need feedback or help, just let us know. You can always send an email to hello@simplyrealhealth.com and we can help. Okay. I hope this was fun and helpful and just gave you some new ideas and things that you can incorporate and make cooking fun. Even as we get into the season of like, it's all about quick and easy. I just think it doesn't have to compromise the ability to still eat vegetables so that you still feel great and have tons of energy and great mood and great digestion, great skin. I mean, all of the things. It all comes down to eating really well and eating simple and eating real food and eating as many vegetables as possible, especially in the summer. You want lots of like water content for hydration, but you also want food that tastes delicious. So I'm going to go eat this right now, but let me know if you guys have questions. And again, both recipes are up. I'm just going to tweak this pesto pasta salad, add a little more pesto in there and make sure all of the swaps are listed for you guys. Okay. I love you guys so much and we will talk soon. Happy June.